An American bison, commonly referred to as a buffalo. The challenge this morning is looking, the thing is almost completely black. It's got a little brown patch on its back, and the trick is to shade it and color it and not make the whole thing black. But that's what we're going to be drawing today. That's the random object out of the random object randomographer. And so good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to Friday morning at 5:30 in the morning. Friday morning is 5:30 in the morning. That is when we pull a random object out of the random object randomographer and we draw it and we talk about it. We do this every day at 5:30 in the morning. We draw it. We talk about it. I track the facts that I come up with and I put them in a lesson plan and I attach that lesson plan to my blog every day. So if you're interested in the facts that we come up with, you're more than welcome to go to the blog and download the lesson plan. You can read the blog. It's at artisticbiker.com. You can read the blog. You can download and use the lesson plan. I'm not charging teachers or educators for that nonsense. I want that resource to be free to use. I want Safari to want to pay for it. Call me Safari. I want Dick Blick Art Supplies to say, hey, this guy's providing resources to teachers. Let's support him. And viewers like you can always click the Buy Me Coffee link on my Facebook site. On my YouTube site. But this is what we do. We draw random object and we talk about it. Today's random object is the American bison. What did the American buffalo say when his kid went off to college? Bison. I love that joke. It's a stupid joke. It's a stupid dad joke. Where I grew up in Oklahoma was a prominent home for these things back in the day. These things used to be millions of them in the Americas, and the indigenous peoples this was their livelihood. Their whole existence was based on following where this herd was going to go. About 150,000 years ago, chat disconnected. Oh, please wait while we try again. Successfully reconnected. Good. Okay, my chat dropped out. About 150,000 years ago is when these things became what they are. Bison have been around for tens of millions of years, but about 150,000 years ago is when the North American bison became the North American bison, and then that's an estimation. My dad and I talk about this all the time. That's an estimation based on the changes in their mitochondrial DNA and when we think the Bering Land Bridge was open. It can be fairly accurate, but it can also give a wide range of times. So some places say it's 150,000 years, some other places say 800,000 years, but it's pretty common to say 150,000 years. Is the pretty common idea, simply because that's the last time there was a major shift in the genetics. So 150,000 years ago is about 150,000 years ago is the last major shift, is the last major shift in the genetics. And so I can't see. I think that eye is way down here. I don't want to give him poofy hair, but I got to make him draw. I got to draw him like I see him, right? But I can't really see that eye. All right. One of the things that separates them from all the rest of the bovines, all the rest of the bison and animals like that, is the American bison, when faced with a storm, will turn to the storm and walk into it head first. The whole herd will just turn to the storm and walk into it. And that does a couple of things. One, it makes the indigenous people nervous. But more importantly, it allows the storm to pass. They get through the storm faster. And so it's an interesting phenomenon. The storm passes for them much faster because they pass through it. And they're about the only animal like this that does that. Everything else seeks shelter from the storm. But not these guys. These guys face it down. They're natural predators. They have this big hump on their back. They have this huge honking head with a bony area in the front. And this big tuft of fat and fur on the top. They're horned animals. They're not terribly aggressive, but they don't shy away from a fight. And it's funny because there's tourists every year that go up and try to touch them. Oh, look how peaceful. He's letting me. It's a spiritual thing. No, that thing is going to kill you. You need to move. You need to not do that. Don't try to touch the bison. He will kill you. He will kill you. If he doesn't kill you, it'll be a story you can tell. That if given the chance, he will kill you. But there are stories every year. Somebody tries to go up and touch a bison. I was one of those people once. I did not successfully touch the bison, but I did manage to survive it. I did manage to survive it. Doesn't that explain a lot? Things my mother learns on stream. Their natural predators are wolves and bears, but wolves and bears don't really attack healthy adult bison. They typically go after the wounded or the old and sickly or the cubs or calves rather, because a full adult bison is quite formidable. There's nothing. There's nothing when the thing turns and faces you. There's nothing for the bear to bite into. It's all bony plate horn. But there's plenty for the bison to do to the bear. So they don't typically go after the adults. There's another phenomenon though. Aside from them being very fast for their size, they are very fast for their size. They're capable of 30-mile-an-hour sprints. Can't do it for very long, but they can do it for a little bit. I don't remember, was it 30 miles an hour, 30 kilometers an hour? Maybe it's 30 kilometers an hour. But they're capable of very fast sprints. And they're very big and they're very strong. They're not moose big, but they're big. And they're very strong. But aside from that, when one of them is wounded, the rest of the herd will surround it. So when they have old and sickly and wounded bison rather, and a bear approaches, the whole herd will surround the target animal. Rashika Kasim, good morning. On the vertical side. So not only do they have speed and strength on their side, they have solidarity. They stand together. And now this is going to get, don't take this the wrong way. There's a good chance that this could be taken the wrong way, but I'm open to discussion about this. The Comanche and the Apache hated each other because they competed over resources for the herds. They hated each other. For thousands of years, they hated each other. They fought amongst themselves so much that when the European Spaniards and the Mexican government came in, they would conspire with the Spaniards and the Mexican government against the other tribe and lose concessions to the Spanish government and to the Mexican government. They would make concessions in land and they would make concessions in hunting rights and all kinds of stuff in order to get the Spanish and Mexican government on their side of their tribe. And both tribes did this, and the Mexican government played both sides for this. Both sides, Apaches and Comanches, did this on both sides, and both sides, the Mexican government played both sides to get this done, to continue this process. And both Comanche and Apache natives claim the bison as a spiritual animal and a teacher. And the bison, one of the major defenses the bison had was to band together in adversity. And if the Apaches and Comanches had done that, they might never have fallen prey to the Spanish and Mexican government. He's got kind of a waddle of fur down below his chin that you can't really see from my angle because it's obscured in darkness, but you can see it in his shadow. can absolutely see it in the shadow. How are we doing on time? 5:46. Let me dry this real quick. At one time, it was estimated that there were 45 to 50 million of these things roaming the North American continent, roaming North America. And those numbers dropped down into the thousands, to less than 1,000 in the 18 and 1900s. Through commercial hunting, and through the ugliest thing of all, local governments decided that since the natives depended so much for their economy on the buffalo, the bison, they called them buffalo at the time, the buffalo, that they will wipe out all the buffalo and destroy the native economy. And it worked. It was very successful. But we almost lost this beautiful animal over it. Ranchers coming in and fencing off where the animals can roam. Yeah, my mom says to a great expense. Ranchers coming in, fencing off where the animals could roam. The railroad cutting across the areas where the animal was free to move. All of that took its toll. All of that took its toll on this great animal, and made it die back down to the thousands. From 40 to 50 million back down into the thousands. And then some people got together and started saying, hey, wait a minute, we can't let these things die off. And so they started farming them, which these guys are not These guys are not the kind of animals that can just be farmed. You cannot, they require a lot of land. They require a lot of roaming area. Oh, give me a home where the buffalo roam. They require a lot of area, so you can't just pen them up. You've got to let them. Wander. They go crazy. My mom says she remembers driving in rural Oklahoma and seeing them in fields, and they look so strong and silent, almost majestic. Down by the Wichita Mountains, down by the Fort Sill in Oklahoma, they have a reserve, and they're all over that area, and it's beautiful. You do do do. The natives claim a spiritual connection to the indigenous peoples of North America claim a spiritual connection to the North American bison, and well, they should. There are a lot of lessons that the American bison can teach, like facing down the storms. And they have a belief that the bison is going to come back, that the bison is not gone, the bison is coming back when there is balance, that the bison has simply gone underground until balance is achieved. And I hope that there is some truth to that. I would like to see a day when these things can roam free again by the millions, unimpeded by human intervention, unencumbered, unfettered. I would like to see that day come back. Do. Today there are about 400,000 of them, and that number, that number is mostly on reservations like Yellowstone or Wichita Mountains in Oklahoma. That number is mostly there. There are some ranches that have wild buffalo on them. There are roughly 400,000 of them. My mom says, how do you keep them in? Well, they don't like to be fenced in, but a good fence will do it. They don't like to be fenced in, but I mean, if they've never known any better, they may. Honestly, if you've ever been to the Wichita Mountain Reservation, they have cattle crossings where the pipes are only this wide and the gap is wide enough for a whole person to slip down into, and they don't like crossing that. And then they have these 16-foot high double thick chain link fences going around the whole park with telephone poles for fence stakes. I mean, it's pretty aggressive. So anyway, let's see. This is my version compared to the photograph. Let's see what it looks like. From my perspective. First, I have to turn the microphone off, because otherwise I'll forget to turn the microphone off and the battery will just run down. Then I have to stop the recording and I have to eject the camera. Then I can do this, and you will be able to see it. My perspective. Do. There it is from my perspective. So that's what I did today. tomorrow, what do we have for tomorrow? I have an egg already pulled for tomorrow. Let's see what it is. Oh, the suspense. The suspense is killing me. Whatever could it be? Whatever could it be? I have no idea, honestly. It is Isis. Have we drawn Isis before? I know we've done Anubis and Osiris and Re, but I don't think we've done Isis before. So we have Isis for tomorrow. So when we need Omar. Omar's from Egypt. We need Omar's perspective on this kind of stuff. Because, you know, he's Egypt. He knows everything about ancient Egypt, right? Like I know everything about Native America. Yeah. But yeah, so tomorrow we have Isis. This is intended for October 4th, Saturday, October 4th. So if you're watching this Saturday, October 4th, and it's before 5:30 in the morning, then you're watching the trailer, and this is what we're about to draw. So stick around, we'll get right on it. But for the rest of us, that concludes today's program. Thank you so much for joining me. You know I look forward to this every day when I get to come down and I get to art with my besties. It's my favorite part of the morning. I do actually just run down the stairs every morning looking forward to this, mostly because I'm running late. But it holds me accountable to my art practice, and it often is the only art I get to do. I hope that you arted along with me. There is a photo reference on my community page on YouTube. If you would like to draw the same bison that I just drew, there is a photo reference there available for download. Don't forget to go to artisticbiker.com, where you can subscribe to the newsletter and get this information that I have given you in printed form, and 9 fun facts and the whole works. But be sure and tune in tomorrow, same Artistic Biker time, same Artistic Biker channel. And then we dance. We dance until somebody says they see me dancing, because that is how we know that the lag has caught up with the stream, and we make sure they don't get cut off mid-sentence. It gives you a chance to click the clicky thingies. If you're on the vertical, the clicky thingies go this way, but it makes sure that I don't get cut off midstream, because being cut off mid